Do you just not hear yourself? Do you just not see what you just did? You front loaded, dude. You literally said in the beginning you're gonna buy at 12.55, but then you bought at 12.30. Why? Why are you changing the last minute? And then next thing you know, the stock drops all the way down, and then when it does break 12.55, it runs up to new highs. You see what I'm saying? So it's the discipline. Let me see if I can read a passage from the Disciplined Trader and see what you guys think. There's some things that are very hard to understand, but culturally learned behavior that results in an unsuccessful trading experience. So, like Mark Douglas talks about how in an emotionally charged situation, which is going to require split-second decision making, right? And that usually leads to what? Failure of some kind, right? Split-second decisions. There's little time to compare the present event with previous market experience. You guys got to really, really listen to this. You guys probably wouldn't even notice if you had behaved similarly in the past and suffer the same disastrous consequences, right? Why? Because you see, the present situation is so immediate that you may have no concept of how typical and even thoughtless your behavior may be. This is very, very important. You have to sit down there and think about this for a second. It may be, news to you that there are only a limited number of such typical reactions leading to failure. So being able to recognize them can prevent you from repeating past mistakes without losing any of that time so necessary for split-second decisions. Okay? So the following typical trading errors have a specific cause rooted in a thinking methodology that can be changed. Okay, number one, refusing to define a loss. Okay. Number two, not liquidating a losing trade. Did you hear that? Not liquidating a losing trade. Okay. Number three, so not liquidating a trade in terms of even after you have acknowledged the trade's potential is greatly diminished. How many of you guys believe right now HHT? What do you guys think about HHT for those that are still in? Right? Even after you acknowledge the trade's potential is now all gone, some of you may be still in. You have to look at your behavior. Why is it that you're still in? Is it hopium? You have to be super honest with yourself. Some of you guys don't want to be honest with yourself. Some of you don't even want to think about it because you know you don't want to face it. But you gotta have to face it because you know what's gonna happen? It's gonna happen again tomorrow. It's gonna happen again the next day. And you're going to keep on doing the same silly mistake. You're never going to fix your bad habit. Oh dear, you're already on the wrong path to what? To failure. Number three, getting locked into a specific opinion or belief about market direction. So from a psychological perspective, this is equivalent to trying to control the market with your, expectation of what it will do, like, quote unquote, I'm right, the market's wrong. Do you ever want to think like that? That I'm right and the market's wrong? If you ever think about how the market is wrong and you're the correct one, that is so dangerous. Okay, I'm going into our mini daily voice lesson. I want to make sure everyone understands that we're on a lesson right now, and you asking me about what's going on with the stock or what do you think about this new stock I want to get in is the wrong time. Do not talk to me right now about, hey, can we get into this trade? It's 11 o'clock to 11:40 is a terrible time to trade. Look at all of these stocks just blowing down. Do you want to be in this? Do you want to be in Waffle still? Do you want to be in whatever this other 11 to 11:40 stocks that are losing steam? No, don't be an idiot. You lost money yesterday too on Chris from 11 to 11:40, just like me. I can explain to you guys what happened. Do not trade at this time unless you know it's the very bottom and you're gonna take small risk. Okay, I'll put NK here just because some of you guys mentioned NK. Revenge trading. How many of you guys do revenge trading? Say I. Who here does revenge trading? Who has problems with revenge trading? A lot of you. A lot of you. Revenge trading as if you were trying to get back at the market for what it took away from you. The market took away from you. Why? Because you didn't follow your rules, man. Most likely. Some of you are like, you know what? It's still a win in my books. When you still follow your trading plan, it just simply hit your stop. Oh, well, you know what? It just didn't work out. You move on. But most people don't. It's not that. It's literally, you know what? Screw this. I need my money back. Give it to me. The market's not going to listen to you. Some of you guys are focusing on price and the monetary value of a trade. That's a good thing or bad thing. Focusing on price and the monetary value of a trade, but instead of the potential for the market to move based on its behavior and structures. Okay? You have to look at the market to move based on its behavior and structure. Every stock price you guys see, these candlesticks are human behavior. Now, some of you guys might say, oh, well, some of them are algos. Yeah, there are going to be. But most of the times, you're going to see all of these emotional big runs and big downs are what? Caused by greed. The big downs are caused by fear. Not reversing your position even when you clearly sense a change in market direction. Why aren't you reversing your position even when you clearly sense a change in market direction? You think about that for a second. You know this market is bloody red. Who here decided to just go in big today? Wrong move. Who decided to go in multiple different plays just to make their money back on that one trade? Wrong move. You see the market direction is now bad. Why? Because of the market news today, this morning. How is that going to affect psychologically to other traders out there? Did you thought about that? You know? So planning for a move or feeling one building, but then finding yourself immobilized to hit the bid or the, ask or the offer, right? And therefore denying yourself the opportunity to profit. Okay? So all of these things that I'm going through right now are the following typical trading errors, which have a specific cause rooted in a thinking methodology and that you can change. Okay? Not acting on your instincts or intuition. Did you hear that word right there? Instincts or intuition. Not feelings. Not acting on your feelings. We're talking about instincts or intuition. Establishing a consistent pattern of trading success over a period of time and then giving your winnings back to the market in one or two trades and starting the cycle over again. Establishing a consistent pattern of trading success over a period of time and then giving your winnings back to the market in one or two trades and starting the cycle over again. Who's been on that boat before? You've been on this consistent trading in the zone for a little bit, right? All right, okay, cool, I'm feeling it. All right. And then you give back your winnings on a single trade or two, and then 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. It's a cycle now. You're back on, not in the trading zone. You're in the losing zone. So this kind of skills that you guys need to acquire and to excel in any activity is what? Whether it is mental, such as trading, or physical, such as, lifting weights, we need to learn specialized skills. So these skills give us the necessary requirements to look at, to think about, and behave toward events in a manner different from what we may be used to or what we may have been taught. So you see, the guy Mark Douglas, guys, he knows the mind of a trader, the typical trader, and what it's required to become a successful trader. Most people are not wired to be traders, so they have to rewire their brains. Does that make sense? And any thinking methodology, he goes on saying, is that it requires a series of approaches to goals and problems. And these approaches might be better described as mental techniques or even skills of thought application. So for example, okay, one such skill might be the ability to identify those conditions that are conducive to making a common trading error before it actually happens, okay? So here are some techniques or skills that you guys can do. Number one, you gotta start learning the dynamics of goal achievement so you can stay positively focused on what you want, not what you fear. Focus on what you want, not what you fear. Stay positively focused. Okay, learning the dynamics of goal achievement. 2, learning how to recognize the skills you need to progress as a trader and then stay focused on the development of those skills. What kind of skills are you lacking right now? Ask yourself right now, as a trader, what kind of skills are you lacking? You guys know what you're lacking. Well, at least you guys know that you lack at something in the trading. But are you working on it? Or are you just showing up here every single day just, oh, I hope today's going to be a lucky day. Oh, I hope today's going to be a lucky day. Oh, I hope today's going to be a lucky day. Oh, I hope Mr. I makes good calls today so I can rub, Mr. Kang's, lucky charm and ride off with him. What are you lacking in your skills? You need to progress as a trader. And you got to stay focused on your development of those skills. You got to first find out what it is that you're lacking, and then you got to focus on developing those skills instead of the money. Because the knowledge and your skills and the producing, that's the very first thing you guys got to develop, but some of you guys aren't developing that. You guys are developing just, let me make my money. Instead of the money, which is merely a byproduct of your skills. Is this making sense? I'm trying to explain to you guys in a way I'm reading off of Mark Douglas to explain to you guys better, because sometimes some of these passages and stuff, they're not making sense. Who here doesn't understand what I'm saying here right now? So number 3, you gotta learn how to adapt yourself to respond to fundamental changes in market conditions more readily. You gotta be ready. You gotta be aware of what's going on in the world of the stock market in terms of, okay, how can it affect the market? You can't just be, oh, I'm a trader. No. You still got to understand how the market's behaving. How is the market behaving today? Well, market's not good. It's red. Why is it red? Well, find out. I talked about it. You should know by now, right? So you got to learn how to adapt yourself to respond to fundamental changes in market conditions quickly. 4 is that you got to identify the amount of risk you are comfortable with. This is so important. How many of you guys know or do not know? Who here doesn't know what your comfortable risk levels are? I bet a lot of you guys don't. That's why you guys make these big blowouts. You blow up. You make a couple $100 here and there, and then you blow up on that trade. Oh my gosh, I just gave back all my monthly gains. You think you're the only guy? It's almost a lot of people that doesn't know how to identify because they don't know. They don't know the amount of risk they're comfortable with. Do you think Mr. I doesn't know how much risk that I'm comfortable with? You guys hear me all the time. Guys, this is the amount of I'm so chill about it because I know my comfort levels. You can't exactly copy my comfort levels because you and I are different people. You need to define what is your comfort level, and don't just get out and put a stop just because, oh, it's 5%, so I'm just going to apply a 5% loss to every single stock trading. That is not going to work. I hate to break it to you, if you're using that strategy, well, I'm just going to, my stop loss strategy is just having 5% below on every single entry that I get on every single different play. Is that going to work, yes or no? You tell me, is it going to work, yes or no? And if it does, I sure would like to see your results. I mean, I want to hear it. Does that work? I don't know any single trader out there that's working. Yeah, Crunch said it tried it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The answer is it doesn't work. You gotta believe it doesn't work. Does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. The 5% rule, whatever, 10% rule, 50%. So what I'm saying is you gotta keep being here every single day. You gotta simulate, especially on a day like this. Simulate. If you don't know, this is a great time. There's always an opportunity within problems. There's always opportunity that you can do on these slow days or whatnot. So it's not always about I gotta trade. What did I say? I said sometimes the best trade is no trade. Simon Swalder earlier this morning said, you know what? Days like this, I noticed that I keep giving back more and more and more. So I decided not to trade today. I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go study. I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna live a good life. I don't care about this market right now. That's the smart man right there. Right? 5. No one should be trying to hunt right now, guys. You guys shouldn't be hunting right now. This is not a hunting time, okay? Learning how to execute your trades immediately upon your perception of an opportunity. Learning how to execute your trades immediately upon your perception of an opportunity. So let's use an example. This morning in pre-market, or not just this morning. In pre-market, when you see a great news, what do? What do you do when you see great news? Well, naturally you buy it, right? Obviously, understanding that there's a quick, obviously, some of you guys will need to take some time to look at the charts, but you chart it, right? Knowing that, this piques your interest. You don't just immediately just buy at whatever price. It could be that it's at a high RSI and you're buying it at a high. Next thing you know, it drops down and then it runs. Do you want to do that? No. The first step is the news gets your attention, and then you look at the charts, you look at the past history, you chart it. Chart it means support, resistance. What is my trading plan? You got to do that quickly. Is that going to happen overnight for all you newbies? No. Just like anything. You think when you start your basketball and you go to the court, you think I shoot threes like a clean, Kobe Bryant? No, Right? So you got to learn how to execute your trades immediately, and that's going to take practice. Learning how to let the market tell you how much is enough instead of assessing the potential from your personal value system of how much is enough. Let me say that again. Learning how to let the market tell you how much is enough instead of assessing the potential from your personal value system of how much is enough. Okay? You got to learn how to let the market tell you that this is enough, or instead of, just letting the potential from your own personal, feelings and value system, whatever your system value is, of how much is enough. Okay? Learning how to structure your beliefs to control your perception of market movement. Another important part. And then learning how to achieve and maintain a state of objectivity. Very, very important word in trading that everyone needs to think. Objectivity. And then learning how to recognize true intuitive information. Intuitive, right? Intuition. It's another important word in trading. Okay? So learning how to recognize true intuitive information, and then learning how to act on it consistently. Consistently. That's one of my favorite words. Consistently. So, does this make sense? Like, this kind of differs slightly from a trading system, doesn't it? This is, a trading system versus the stuff that I just talked to you guys about. Trading system gives us a way to define and quantify as well as categorize market behavior, right? So, since the markets offer traders a seemingly infinite combination of behaviors, all with their corresponding opportunities and risks, it's easy to understand how our minds can become overwhelmed, right? So trading systems, what do? They limit the scope of market behavior and therefore make this activity a little easier of our minds to manage. That is why you will hear from me and everyone else, you gotta have your trading system. What is your trading system? Okay. Let's see what Buck said here. The problem with creating consistent success, you can make every mistake in the book over and over again and still luck out and find yourself in a winning trade, and you think you got this down. But when you get caught in a big loser, you will freeze up like a deer in the headlights and get run over by the market. I love that. Buck's his own experience, ain't it? I love how you use the deer example there. That's perfect. I love that. Yeah. Well, that's probably why Buck is Buck. Who knows? Anyways, so do you guys feel what I'm saying here, right? Trading systems makes our activity a little easier for our minds to manage. That's why it's important to know your trading systems, right? So they not only do that makes it easier for our minds to manage, they also give us direction, right? More clear direction and suggestions about, hey, what to do in a given market situation like this. you need to have a training system for days when it's like this. You need to have a training system when days are good, like, popping. And you're never going to actually master your training system until you actually have a good experience, a good amount of experience. And you got to stack up experience. Experience is important, right? So without this training system, you guys could easily feel as if you guys are floating aimlessly in an endless sea of possibilities and opportunities with no land in sight. That's how most traders play. It's a perfect example. Most traders, they just feel like they're just floating aimlessly. What's the target? What's my stop? Just constantly, endlessly. They have no idea what they're seeing. They're in a huge pool of sea, ocean. Just they know that there's a lot of possibilities and opportunities with no land in sight. They never mark it. They never get it, right? So training systems define opportunity and they offer suggestions, okay? And following these suggestions can lead to the development of skills. See how there's a step-to-step an equation to things and everything that we do, okay? Training systems define opportunity and then offer suggestions, and then what? Following these suggestions can lead to the development of your skills that you need, and then what? From that point on, now you have the acquired skills to become a successful trader that you can be, right? Even though as suggestions that as suggestions they merely point the way of your awareness to be directed. So a true skill is not only gonna point the way, but almost automatically begin to direct awareness as well. I think a lot of people lack awareness. How many of you guys agree? Who here thinks, not just in trading, but general life, right? Social life, people that live in this society lack awareness. Who here thinks, yeah, so this is the same thing. People that come in that lack awareness, they come to the stock market, they're unaware. They're so unaware. They have no awareness. Okay. So all of these things right now, do you see how there's a lot of these things you guys got to think about? That's trading psychology. There's so much to dig into, right? There's so much to dig into. It's not just simple as, oh, well, trading psychology 101. So, there's a lot of pointers that you got to really think deeply about and understand. Okay. And if you master this, you're going to become such a better trader. It's not about, okay, well, I'm just going to ride the momentum here and get my lucky trade. You got to think bigger than that. You got to level up more than that. Okay. And maybe you've been making good money just by following the momentum. I get that. You can, but you still, if you want the long-term consistency and you want to start leveling up more, you got to master this ground root. Let me see what else I can talk about here. So, it's a great book. He talks more about the trading system, and he talks about the unsuccessful traders too. Do you guys know the reasons why traders are not successful? What are some of the reasons why traders are unsuccessful? Just one thing that we just talked about is lack of skills. As simple as that. Some of you guys, like, literally, patience is part of skill too. You know that? Discipline is part of a skill too. It's a skill set. All of these are skill sets. This is not just, just be disciplined, guys. Just have some grit, baby. No, these are all skills. Okay, the person that shows up in time, that's a skill. The person that asks good questions, that's also a skill. Okay, people lack skills. Okay, that's why they suck at trading. That's why they're not successful. These reasons can be broken down into three broad categories. Okay. Number one is lack of skill. That's the number one thing. The trader is generally not aware that the trading environment is different from all of these other environments. Okay, so trading has the appearance of something that should be easy to do, coupled with the possibility of making vast amounts of money in a relatively short period of time. I mean, we all think that, right? Like, so it's a relatively short amount of time. So the trader will then create some sort of this inflated expectations of success. I like that word, inflated expectations of success. I like that. So adherence to these inflated expectations without the appropriate skills equals what, ladies and gentlemen? Disappointment. Disappointment. How many of you guys get disappointed? A lot of you, every single day probably, some of you. Right? And what does disappointment equal to? Disappointment equals to pain. Everyone goes through pain from time to time. And pain equals what? Psychological damage. which equals what? Psychological damage equals fear. Okay? And that's why a lot of you guys went through this in the beginning, and you guys can shake away from your fear. That's why those are the ones, like, especially are like the guys and gals that never pulls the trigger. Oh, I knew that it was going to go up, but gosh darn it, I don't know why I can't pull the trigger. Gosh darn it, I can't pull the trigger. I just knew it was going to go up, but gosh darn it, I can't pull the trigger. I know I'm speaking to some of you guys right now that are listening in. And for those that are not listening in, I mean, geez, they're missing out right now, right? So fear diminishes the trader's ability to be objective. The key is to be objective traders, right? But fear diminishes the trader's ability to be objective, execute his or her trades, or learn about the fundamental nature of the markets, right? Now, of course, it is possible to make money without the appropriate skills. You can be. It's possible. But without these skills, the trader will invariably lose. Okay? They're going to lose what they made back to the markets and plus more. That's what happens. And so the result is disappointment. And the result is pain. And the result is psychological damage. And the result is fear now. You see how it gets worse and worse? People generally don't know how to repair psychological damage. People don't know. That's why I've learned. I wouldn't say master. I'm constantly a student too. I'm constantly trying to work on that, to repair psychological damage. I want to make sure that in my system, like if I think of myself as a car, I want to make sure that everything's running smooth, my engine's good, my coolers, everything's good, baby. Some of you car fans out there, right? If you see something popping on up, are you just going to keep on riding until it is destroyed? If you got a check engine light, you're just going to keep on driving it? You know at one point it's going to break down, right? You know it's going to be bad. But some of you guys just ignore that. What's going to happen? You're gonna get broke. You're gonna go into bad news, right? People generally don't know how to repair psychological damage, and as a result, they don't know how to release themselves from the fear. So I think I have some traders in here that are on fear for the past 3 years. It's crazy. And as simple as you gotta learn how to repair your psychological damage, but they keep on going, and that's the result of these guys constantly pouring more money into their accounts and just giving it back to the markets, giving it back to the markets, giving it back to the markets, and they end up becoming a habit of a loser. You're just a loser. You just play the stock market as a thrill, and you just keep giving money away to the guys that knows how to do this. Does that make sense? You guys, this is like gold stuff that you guys need to seriously consider and be aware of this. Okay, so it's almost like the last 20-minute pre-lunch run. I personally just gonna be straight up with you. I want to finish this till 12 o'clock. Who wants me to go on till 12 o'clock? Or do you want me to just get into trading? Because right now I'm personally done with trading. Who wants me to keep going till 12 o'clock? Okay, I'm going to keep going because I think this is very, very important. I think a day like today, you really, really got to go back and write these things down. You got to master this stuff. You got to master this. You got to master your mind. I promise you, man, this is the result of how I was able to be successful, not only in trading, but everything that I started. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You'll keep applying the same strategy because the psychological thing is real. It doesn't affect just the trading. It's whatever you do, okay? So fear diminishes the trader's ability to be objective and then execute his or her trades or learn about the fundamental nature of the markets, right? So I talked about how people, or Mark Douglas here talks also about how, most people don't know how to repair their psychological damage, so you got to learn how to do that, okay? And they don't know how to release themselves from their fear. So to compensate, what do people do? We learn some very sophisticated ways of covering our fear up. Some of us have subconsciously don't know that they're doing that. Did you know? You guys know this, right? Most people will lie because they want to protect themselves. Like if someone calls them out, they are going to lie about that. Because why? It's natural. Human nature is to what? To protect oneself. Okay? It's the same thing. When you're in the middle of a trade and you're wrong, they don't want to be called out that they were wrong. They want to keep saying, oh, it's fine, just buy more, it's fine, until they blow up their account. I'm like, oh crap. Okay, so to compensate, we like to learn some very sophisticated ways of covering our fear up. So in society that we all live in, We can get by and even be successful with a facade of confidence because why? People will generally support each other's illusions about themselves. The market, do you think the market's going to do that? Do you think the market's going to support y'all's illusions about your little things? No. The market doesn't care. The market has no vested interest in supporting anyone's illusions about himself or herself. Not me, not you. If a trader is feeling fearful, okay, they can try to cover it up all they want, but his or her trading results will reflect his or her true feelings. That's the number one thing. So you lack of skills. So Mark Douglas is telling you guys right now there are 3 broad categories why people are unsuccessful. Lack of skills was one. I just went into details of it. Second thing is limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs. If you're writing down, write this down. Limiting beliefs. Most people, they have a whole assortment of beliefs that argue against their success as a trader. Okay, so some of these beliefs you guys may be consciously aware of. Most of them you may not be aware of, right? In whatever the case, you cannot negate the significance in how they will determine and affect your behavior as a trader. So what happens is many traders, they will try to circumvent confronting these limiting beliefs by what? Oh, you know what? I'm just going to become a market expert, analyst. They become an analyst. They don't become a trader anymore. How many of you guys know that? Some of you guys know excellent analysts, but they suck at trading. Anyone know? Does anyone seriously think that if they're a great analyst, that equals great traders? Not necessarily. Some people act like I told you guys about this all the time. Anyone can be great analysts, but can you actually trade it, right? So they will try to become an expert market analyst. And it doesn't matter how good a market analyst you become. If you don't release yourself from the effects of these beliefs, okay, you will not be successful to the extent these limiting beliefs have power in your mental system. So these are many, okay, so you guys, these gurus, right, these sages, they call themselves market gurus, right, who can predict market moves with uncanny accuracy, but what? They can't make money as a trader. Man, that's the one thing that bugs me. You know, people always talk about, man, I made these good calls, but God knows if they're actually trading them, right? I do my best to show the call outs and then you know, my profits that I traded, right? But there are so many people out there that just make calls after calls. And where's your profits? Where's your results? So that's why, you know, you got to be very, very careful who you are actually learning from. Because it's so easy to be an analyst, guys. You know, you guys do realize that there are people that literally copy and paste my alerts out there, right? It's not surprising. They don't know how to trade. They just copy and paste. And that's exactly why I tell you guys, don't just rely on my alerts. I want you guys to be successful, you know, on your own. Like, I want you guys to develop all these things, right? So, don't be a little bit of this expert analyst. Be the good trader. Make it happen, okay? You have to want to do it or nothing will happen, okay? I know you want to do it, so make it happen. If you choose not to do so, you will be subjecting yourselves to the same recurring cycles of negative experiences again and again and again and again and again until you either decide to work through whatever issues are necessary or lose all your money and have to give it up. And those are the guys that come up to me, hey, Dave, it was a fun time. I will probably have to go back to work now. Hey, Dave, hey, listen, buddy, you know, things just are hard times now. So I'll see you later. You know, I don't care about the excuses, man. I mean, I'll be polite and just like, oh, okay, sure, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's a failed student. It is. No excuses. And there's a very rare circumstance and case where they will have to leave because of a family emergency or they actually got this amazing job. No one's going to leave trading because they got a job at McDonald's. True or false? Hey, Mr. I got a job at McDonald's. I'm done trading. Oh, congrats. Congrats. I hope you be prosperous at McDonald's. And one day I hope you sit there and suck on that orange juice and wonder what in the world happened to my life. All right. Well, isn't that such a cute story to own a McDonald's, right? No. You will have to go to McDonald's University and you'll have to pay a lot of money to do that. And by working at McDonald's, I will tell you 100% that person is not going to be an owner of McDonald's. Trust me. Anyways, so you have to want to do it or nothing will happen, right? And I believe a lot of you guys want to do it, but you just don't make it happen because you don't take the necessary steps or you don't have the right amount of the knowledge, the skills that's necessary, okay? So if you choose not to, you will be subjecting yourself to, again, like I said, the recurring cycles that some of you may be seeing. And the third thing, so we just talked about, guys, we talked about why people are unsuccessful traders. Number 1, lack of skills. Number 2, limiting beliefs. And number 3, what do you think it is? Lack of self-discipline. Self-discipline. You lack self-discipline. That's why I preach about the most, about how I say that you don't keep your promises. You lack discipline, and therefore you keep disrespecting yourself, and that cycle goes on and on. That's why some of you guys, that say that we're going to do something, you're going to do something today, and you say, you know what, today you probably say the same thing that you did last week. You said, you know what, I'm going to do it today, but no, you don't do it. You say, you know what, I'm just going to do it tomorrow. And that tomorrow goes to next week, and next week goes to next week again. And now it's been 3 months and 4 months, and you still haven't done what you say you're going to do. Self-discipline you lack, right? So if the type of environment conditions exist that are beyond your skill level to respond appropriately without doing harm to yourself, then you will need to institute some rules and limitations to guide your behavior until you learn how to act in your best interest. That's why I say you got to have your trading rules. There's no way you're going to build self-discipline if you don't abide by the rules. If there are no rules, how are you going to be disciplined? So when you were a child, right, your parents didn't let you cross the street by yourself. At least if the correct good parents, right? When you are a little child, no parents out there, the right parents, are not going to let a kid just cross the street by themselves. Why? Because the consequences of their inability to cross safely might have precluded them getting a second chance. So when you are able to make the appropriate distinctions about the nature of traffic, your parents trusted you enough to cross the street on your own. This is another example, okay? Me growing up, my parents wouldn't let me do anything because you know what? I didn't have credibility. I didn't have the credibility. I made mistakes in the past. My mommy and my daddy didn't trust me. There was times where I said I was going to show up at this time. I said I'll be back by 11 o'clock. I didn't show. So you really think mommy and daddy's going to trust me on the next time? Mom, can I go out? No. Why? Why not, Mom? Why not? Because, honey, you broke the rules. You didn't come by 11 o'clock. You don't have self-discipline, so we don't trust you that you can do on your own. Guess what? You got to earn that. You got to show your mommy and daddy that, you know what, I'm going to be doing exactly what they say. And when they see that, they will trust you now. And now you can simply go out and do what you want to do because they trust you. You earned it. You got to earn it here in trading too. You see what I'm saying? You got to have self-discipline. You got to do what you say you're going to do and be respectful of yourself, and everyone else is going to respect you because they see that you are a respectful person, that you respect yourself. Okay, listen. You really think you're going to respect somebody when you see them not even respecting themselves? Does that make sense? There's no way in heck that person, you're not going to respect that person if you see that they're not even respecting themselves. They're not doing what they say they're going to do. No way. No way, Jose. Okay? So, that's very important. Discipline. Okay? So, until they trust you, they will always fear the possibility of you getting, of you just something happening, right? Like the car example, right? They're going to have that fear of you getting hit by a car if you had, multiple car accidents or something. So as a result of their fear, that's why mommy and daddy, you think they're just mean people? It's because they're fearful. They're fearful. They want the best for you, right? Mom and dads want the best for you. And so as a result of their fear, they restrict your freedom of movement. But then what do you guys do? Some of you teenagers out there, you guys decide to just keep fighting with your mom and dad. Makes it worse. There are no strategy. You don't do that. There's just no way you're gonna win that. If you want to win and you want them to respect you, you gotta start respecting yourself, and you better show that you have self-discipline. Mommy and daddy, my mom and dad, they didn't respect me before. Mom and dad used to always restrict me in a lot of things because I didn't follow the rules. I was not disciplined. Well, guess what happened? Little Davy decided to be what? More disciplined. He wanted to show up and show them that, I'm going to show you guys that I have earned the right for you guys to respect me, and they did. And I did, right? And that is how you make a great relationship with your mommy and daddy, by instead of yelling at them and going against their will, show them that you're the real deal, okay? That's it. Just like in anything you do. If someone makes fun of you, and so then just show them that you have discipline. Forget about what other people think. You just show them you're the real deal. Okay? So your interaction with the trading environment works the same way. Does that make sense? So the difference is that no one is stopping you from standing in the middle of the street, right? Metaphorically, to get hit by a truck. So you are the only one in the trading game, not me, right? Do not depend on anyone else. You got to depend on yourself. You got to be self-reliant. You are the only one, Mr. and Mrs. and Miss, right? You're the only one who can stop yourself. So after you have been hit once or twice, in this case in trading, it might not be so easy to cross, not in trading, but crossing the street, let's say. Why would it not be easy to cross the street? Because you have fear now. You got hit. You understand the pain. And now you have fear. The pain equals to fear, right? You got psychological damage also. Regardless of how good the opportunities look on the other side, you now are going to be what? It's not going to be so easy to cross the street. That's why, even the guys, the PTSD, the guys in the army and stuff, they see something, they freak out, right? What makes it even more difficult is that, continuing with the traffic metaphor, that is, to step out into the street is when you further realize that the cars and trucks can come at you in a seemingly random fashion. So all of a sudden now, you're lying on the street, not even knowing what hit you because you thought you were being careful. And that's why some of you guys go through the same thing in trading. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and leave it off here, guys. I hope you guys really, was this helpful? Anybody, did this help you guys in any way? Did we learn something new? Did we dig in a little bit deeper on our minds and understand the concepts of all this? This is very, very important stuff. So the reason why you are unsuccessful, or you see unsuccessful traders, because they lack skills, they're limiting their beliefs, and they lack self-discipline. So I really encourage you guys highly to work on these three things to become more and more successful, not only in trading, but your everyday life. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in. I think today was a great lesson to go into this because, it's been very slow, and I just want you guys to become the very best traders you guys can be, and also just the very best, human beings out there. All right. So other than that, we got about, 8 minutes, and then we're going to go into the, obviously lunch hours. And then I would say probably watch Waffle again. This is getting really low again. What did I say about the RSI? Check it out. Look. What did I say? Around this low RSI is where you want to be buying a dip. And where did we pop to? Ooh la la. This was right here too. All low RSI. I did give up to this mark here. Didn't come down exactly, but you saw that it was what? Holding once, twice, 3 times. Oh, isn't that a triple bottom? That's a bullish sign. And you could have scalped it from $8.15 while I was talking about all of this to what? To the 50 EMA here. Double top. Or is it double top? Something like that. Okay. So that was what? 810 to 970 or 950. You guys know how to do this. You just follow the rules. Okay. So I'll be looking into that. Right now, I think Holly's pretty quiet. There's not much going on. Today is definitely a day where you want to be taking a step back. I am just grateful today that I am probably just gonna be ending kind of even here today. Not even, excuse me. I'm up $881. I was red and then I came back, so we'll see. I mean, maybe as the afternoon really offers a sweet setup, then I will let you guys know. And maybe if you guys see something too, then let me know, and so that I can let the team know, or you can let the team know. Either way. Other than that, I do want to see if this is gonna. Here's my prediction. Okay, I think Wafu, since this is still way far off in the up ahead in the gainer list, I predict that Wafu, as long as we hold this $8 area, right? This is a very important support level, $8. Maybe you might want to give that new low at the 750. You never want to ever see a stock going to make another new low in the afternoon. Does that make sense, guys? Write that down too. You never want to see a stock making a new low in the afternoon. That's a Dunzo stock. That's a complete, like, you gotta get out. Otherwise, what you're gonna see is you're gonna be in that trade all hoped up, only just to lose more money. So I predict Wafu to come above $10 here again. And I think it's going to make a run up to this mark right here, to 1250 on Wafu. That does not mean, since Mr. I predicted, I'm just going to buy now and sell at $12. No. You guys know better than that, right? So I'm predicting that. So watch the movements, do your charts. And listen, at the end of the day, I want to say this. If I can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So for those that are like at the tip of the iceberg, like, man, I'm not sure this is for me. Man, I'm not sure if I can do this. Those are negative words that you're talking and putting yourself down. Tell yourself instead of that, you know what, I can do this. I messed up. I will learn from this. I can do this. I know I can, and I believe it, and I will. You say those words of affirmation right here, right now, every single day, every single morning. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to be patient. I know this is not going to happen overnight. I'm going to learn this thing. I'm going to have abundance through the stock market. I will learn this because you know why? This is important. Another pandemic's going to come again. I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn the skill so that whenever something like this happens, I don't have to rely on my boss. I don't have to rely on my other jobs. Okay. And I'm going to learn this. I'm going to master this. I'm the master of my destiny. I own this. I'm going to own it. You guys got to say that. Stop, you guys, no more negative talk. Oh, I'm down again. Oh, I don't feel good. Like, those friends that you guys meet and, you just want to hear them out, but then they always say negative things. Hey, man, what's going on? I just broke up with my girlfriend. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, and, I just, I'm broke, man. Okay, and then, the next day they're talking about, I'm sick, man. Like, good Lord, you really want to be with that person? You have to, at one point, stop feeling sorry for yourself and step up to the plate. So here we go. Wafu making some moves. Be smart. We are approaching lunch hours. Watch the volume. See if the volume does come in. Volume is key. So volume is coming in. Where do you think we're going to go up to? The next resistance at what? The VWAP at around $11. Okay. I know you guys can do it. I know you can do it. You know why? It's not just because I know I can. I know I've seen myself do it. I've seen plenty of people in here. The guys that used to be purple names, they all used to be at somewhere where you guys are starting. Some of you newbies. They're only here today because they were able to break down all these fears and barriers and the learnings, the time they spent. That is the only way they got to that point. They're not here because they got through all of that. You guys can do it. Okay, so don't talk yourself out of it. Don't stop coming up with excuses. But my mommy's sick, my daddy's sick. I've been there too. No one cares at the end of the day. To be honest with you, it's a harsh world. You can't keep coming up with excuses. Well, I don't have the money. Yeah, you do. You just spend on stupid things. Look at yourself. Look at your behaviors. Look at how much time you're spending on Netflix. Everything you got to reflect on yourself. Be honest with yourself. You're not fulfilling the best way you can do. You got so much excellence in you, but you're wasting them. You have so much more potential, but you're not reaching the full max potential. Every day, by the time you go to bed, you should feel like, man, I feel good. I am so tired. Not tired because of how bored you are and there's nothing going on in your life. You're tired because, man, I gave it all. I gave it my all. I feel great, and that's how you get a great night's sleep. That's how you don't even think about the worries and you don't stay up at night. That is how you sleep well, and then you wake up again and you say the same thing. I'm going to destroy the day again, baby. Because you know what? I am the man. I am the woman. I'm going to own this day, baby. Okay? All right, guys. Well, much love. Thanks so much for listening in, as always, some of you guys. And I really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had a good trading day. I hope you guys got something out of it, even if it wasn't the best trading day for you. I want to encourage you guys every day. I want to motivate you guys, but don't just rely on the motivation. Rely on yourselves. Be the better person that you want to be, okay? So go after it. Have a great lunch hours. And this was your boy, Mr. Besta. All right, I'll see you guys later. All right, I'll talk to you guys later, and then Trader McCrum will be coming back in for the afternoon. So hopefully he can give you guys some hot dogs.